Can you hear me?
Morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, I guess, yeah.
Hey, hi. Hi, Jax.
Hi, it's good to see you.
Great to see you. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to
I'm happy.
see you here on the webs. And we'll be seeing each other next week because next week on Tuesday, March 28th at 7 p.m., we're going to be premiering your film, Para Vivir,
Yeah.
at the Art and Activism
Yeah.
Shorts program at Alphas Fusion.
Heck
Hi,
yeah.
everybody. Hi, thanks for joining us. I am just welcoming our filmmaker, Jax, who last year, 2022, was part of the Video Diaries program. And they took this program, which was an 8-week program. Last year, it was an 8-week program. It was a hybrid program. And
Yeah.
we met every Saturday for 8 weeks. And then 2 Saturdays, I believe it was in person. So, Jax, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Yeah. Well, Jax, she's a. Um, I started filmmaking back in 2016 when I just got out of high school. I was just really motivated by the lack of representation there was of queer women. And so I made it my goal, to put more content out here for the queers, the lesbianas, um, and then I went to college and I just kept looking up opportunities. And it wasn't until I graduated after UCSD, my bachelor's, that I was able to find Justice for My Sister randomly, just saw it online. And I think Kimberly reached out to me and was like, you should apply. And I was like, you know what, I'll apply. So it was super random, but it was amazing, and it's such a blessing to have been part of this program.
Oh, that's so great. See, there's so much to say about starting something new. Like for you, it was after high school, and that was 2016, you said, when you
Yeah.
started? All right. So how many years is that now? We're in 2023. That's 7 years. Seven.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
7 years. Look at you. Congratulations again. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I was just debriefing a little bit with Jax. This IG Live is to basically congratulate you about getting your film Para Vivir uh, into Alphas Fusion, the Arts and Activism program, short programs that will be showing on March 28th at 7 p.m. at the
Yeah.
Japanese American Museum in Little Tokyo. So first thing you all gonna do is go get your tickets after this IG live. So tell us what is your film about, and how, yeah, tell us how you came up with the idea. And just so everybody knows, this film was co-created, right, with our
Yeah.
group of Video Diaries. So you were
Yeah.
one of 5 participants who came together for 8 weeks. The first couple of weeks, it was about the conception, right? Like, okay, what are we gonna do? What is a video diary? And talking about storytelling, especially filmmaking and storytelling.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. For sure.
yeah, how did you come up with the idea?
Well, it was a roller coaster for sure, and it started off first with I wanted to show negative part of myself, be vulnerable, but then I questioned. There was a lot of questioning involved in that process, just because those first 2 weeks of the program, we were very critical. We were asking all these questions like, why do you want to tell this story? What's the structure you want to make in this story? And so that, all those questioning that the program really made me ask myself, allowed me to really get critical in this process. What is it that I want people to take away from my film? And why do I want to show this negative part? What is it going to do, And I kept thinking, I don't want somebody to feel bad about themselves, or just, it was almost like a sense of relatability. But I kind of took that out because I didn't want to make anyone feel bad. I just wanted to make something very positive and something that I feel like my younger self would be proud of seeing, you know? And so, yeah, I took out that, and then it ended up becoming just something very positive and motivational. You know, it's a visual love letter that I wrote, and I felt very connected to even when I was writing it. I was influenced by Gloria Anzula, uh, just reading her book and her many books. um, and yeah, it was just very amazing to have, you know, you, P, uh, being part of this process, being my mentor too. Like, super helpful. I love you for being that for me, you know. Um,
Love you
and
too.
Kimberly too. Hell yeah.
There we go. There we go.
But yeah, it was
Yeah.
just those first 2 weeks. I was very critical, and it just ended up becoming
Yes.
something I could have never imagined. Yeah.
Absolutely. And there was that flexibility, right? We all, so for everybody to understand that the Video Diaries 2022 cohort had 8 weeks. The first couple of weeks, the first 2 weeks had to do with like imagining, questioning your intent, your impact, why is it that we want to make something very personal and share it with the world, like what is our intention. And so Jax, yeah, like I had the pleasure of having you in my yeah, having you being one of the participants that I co-facilitated. So it was
Mm-hmm.
Jax and Jimena that I had, and so our little group of three together, we had this like constant ongoing conversations and questioning, okay, and like how do I want to have people feel after watching my movie. And so if a little preview of the film Para Vivir, we will see Jax really like breaking down the history, right? Like how, like the roller coaster of emotions that comes with uh, being a queer, being a lesbiana, being a lesbian, and having all your ancestors also around you. And you mentioned Gloria Anzaldúa, and I remember you also talked about this book, this bridge called My Back, which last year when you were working on it, it was turning 40 years, like 40 years of this anthology of lesbian writers. And the fact that you made this film is like, it's also, so beautiful in the 40 years anniversary. And in now, this is your 7-year anniversary as a filmmaker. And it's so beautiful, such, how they say about the cycles. So like every 7 years we are a whole new person because all our cells have renewed. And look at you, this is like your second iteration as a filmmaker and having your film. So tell, for anybody interested about the Video Diaries program, can you share with us a little bit more after what happened after you decided what to make? How was the production process and the post-production process?
Yeah, I mean, we started off by so once we had the writing done, you know, we knew like what prompt we wanted to go into production with. We, you know, we started to lay out like what equipment we had available. We started just, you know, doing all the necessary production documents, which was super helpful, you know. So first we would do like the workshops, like what is like a shot list, or what is a script, and just like reiterating those essence, you know, it was very helpful just to get into the process of making those documents and being sure that once we were in production, we were ready, you know, to know what scenes we were going to shoot, what angles we needed, how many times we had to go over the scene, and it was it was something the program really made easy, you know, even though like in reality it wasn't that easy. um, but having you, having Kimberly, having Patricia, having even just like my friends holding the light reflector uh, during production, all of it was just amazing to be a part of. You know, I felt the love from everybody in production. It wasn't something like a egotistic, you know, environment or anything like that we would typically see like with big productions. You know, they're under this big stress. But no, we made it fun. Even even that fun, like in production, definitely carried within post production once I was editing, and once I was able to put this all together, for the screening and finalize everything. Like that essence stayed from pre production to production, post production, all of it. I loved it. Like the 8 weeks didn't even it flew by. It didn't even feel like 8 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we have to remember, like we made this happen online too, right? It
Yeah.
was it was different because I hadn't experienced that before. Also very used to like coming together in person, like doing all this work in person. So doing this, and like I think I met you on week 6, like in person, right? Like, and it's like, oh wow, like we're now, like, able to see each other, and it was most of us were able to make it. It was a camera workshop, I remember,
Yeah.
and and it was so beautiful. And then this year, the video diaries are going to be in person. Some hybrid, like some like weekly meetings in person, but most of the sessions will be um, in person, and it's going to be, I believe, 3 weekends in person. So, do you remember how the application process was for video diaries? Like when you found out, how long did it take you to apply?
Didn't take me that long. Um, it just started off, with the basics like your name, and then once you like started to get towards the end, that's when you have like all these deep questions like, why do you want to be a part of this program? What do you think you could take away from this program? And like I kept remembering why I really did get in this industry. And I feel like putting my why and knowing the essence of Justice for My Sister, like I definitely connected there. Like there's a connection between both of us. There's the need for better representation both in front of and behind of the camera. And basically that was it for me. Like once I knew that was the mission of Justice for My Sister, I knew I had to go in there and I had to collaborate with other people because we all have the same essence there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of alignment. And yeah, personally too, right? Like having you as my mentee and knowing that, you were queer and a person of color and, coming from the Americas. And so, yeah, I felt very connected. And so I'm smiling really hard right now because I'm going to ask you about casting. And it's something that I feel very about because I had the pleasure of being in front of the camera for your film, and I hadn't been before because I'm a cinematographer, so I'm always behind the camera. So,
Yeah.
and then you also were in front of the camera. So how was that decision for you? Like, at what point did you decide I'm going to be part of my film as well in front of the camera?
I knew going in, like once I was writing it, I couldn't picture anyone else saying these words. Like, yeah, like there could have been somebody else who I could have directed, but just because I felt so close to the story, it was very personal to me. I felt like I needed to be the one in front of the camera and saying these things. Um, but the casting also was another roller coaster because remember I was like, we need a young baby couple, and then we need a middle age, and then we need an older couple. So that just it pretty much just went into like whatever it ended up being because of people flaking last minute or not being able to uh, do it last minute. So production is always about adjusting. So
Mm-hmm.
we pretty much adjusted and we worked around those things. And yeah, I feel like casting was beautiful. Like you and Sohila, y'all are y'all are beautiful. And
So,
to have captured y'all in front of the camera, like blessing.
yeah, yeah, it was both of our first times acting. So I am, I'm honored to have been casted for the older couple. Y'all you can't tell, but we do have gray hairs. But yeah, no, I'm gonna tell her I'm gonna bring out a Sharpie and just, you know. It's gonna be our film debut, so y'all can't miss it. Tell us one more thing. One last question is, what's your relationship with Outfits? Because I know you also had a relationship prior to getting your film into Outfits Fusion with Outfits. So tell us,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, back in 2020, when I was just doing my undergrad, it was winter session, and they were just about starting like to do the pre-production for Fusion that year for 2020. And I applied to be an intern. It was through Evolve that I was able to get the internship. And Evolve now is pretty much the GEI Group Effort Initiative. And because of them, like, they put in a good word with Outfest, and they pretty much were able to pay my internship. So luckily through that program, I was able to get the internship with Outfest and help them out with like marketing, graphics, anything they really needed for that Fusion that year. And yeah, ever since I worked in that environment, like just being around other queers and working around like other queer folks, so different than any other spaces I've been around. And yeah, like I knew I was gonna be with Alphas ever since then, because it's such an amazing group and people are so kind and very welcoming. So yeah, like I was just hoping once I applied, I was like, let me get in here again, you know. Yeah.
Yes. So for everybody who is joining, Outfest is I also last year I believe they turned 40. It's been
Yeah.
around for 40 years. It was started at UCLA by film students 40 years ago, 41 now, um, and Outfest Fusion is a little bit younger, but Outfest Fusion is specifically um, an effort to program films by filmmakers of color. So, BIPOC queer filmmakers. And what a beautiful opportunity to have your film Para Vivir, which means to live, um, in this year's Outfest Fusion. One more key date to keep in mind for everybody is that our applications for Justice for My Sisters Video Diaries 2023 program are due on March 20.
Oh, she got stuck there.
Sorry, March 27th.
That's
So
funny.
everybody, please spread the word. This program is open for anybody, no filmmaking experience necessary, and the age group is up to 30 years old. So yeah, it's really nice to see that youth is still considered 30 years. So I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Jax, you wanna give a shout out to anything else? Anyone else?
I know Fusion, the main like film festival, they just had their deadline on the 17th to submit. But I do believe there's like an extended deadline. I could be wrong. Just look on Film Freeway, y'all, if you're planning to submit any shorts or anything like that. I've also like been talking to other queer filmmakers recently, and they tell me like this sense of insecurity of submitting films, you know. I'm like, that definitely needs to be talked about more, because you know we're queer and we're trans and we're all these amazing things that are so unique to us, and you know our stories are as unique as we are, so we have to like, you know, put those insecurities on the side, you know, let us remind ourselves that rejection can be a blessing, you know. Rejection is just realignment, you know. So if you don't get into a film festival that you wanted to get into, it's okay. Like, don't let that devalue how much value you have to yourself. That also relates to what my message to Para Vivir, you know. So
That's right. That's right. And now, actually, speaking about film festivals, we know that your film is premiering at Alphas Fusion next Tuesday, but you also have another screening coming up, right? In San
yeah,
Francisco. Tell us a little bit about that.
That one's gonna be in about June, like late June. It's by the Queer Women of Color Media Association projects. And look them up, y'all. They're Q Walk Map, pretty much. That's their acronym. And they're still kind of new, but this is like their second or third film festival they've done. So definitely look them up. And since they're there you go. Since they're so new, like they're willing to work with you and whatever you need. They're very communicative, like in whatever aspect that you want to ask questions about. Like definitely reach out. And yeah, it was the same process, submitting through Film Freeway. And yeah, I'm just super excited to have people see this on screen and like have their popcorn and comfy chairs around just to see this. I'm excited.
Yes, I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled. Everybody, yes. So March 27th is the deadline to apply for Video Diaries, which is the program that Jax was part of last year. And this year, Jack's film is premiering at Alphas the next day, March 28th at 7 p.m. at the Japanese American Museum, part of the Alphas Fusion Arts and Activism Shorts program. So check them out. The festival goes from the 24th to April 2nd or 1st. One of those. So check out the schedule. There's plenty of films to check out, but don't forget next Tuesday, Japanese American Museum, and Video Diaries deadline March 27th. Thank you everyone for joining. Yes.
If you can't make it to screening in person, you can also see the film from the 29th through the 2nd on the Alphas streaming platforms. So yeah.
Awesome, yeah, because I did have some people outside of LA who were asking. Yeah, awesome. So if you're not in LA, you can watch it virtually, a virtual screening. Awesome. See, we all adapt. I love it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Thank you,
Jax.
Yay! Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, love everybody.
Let's do it.
Take care.
Yay!
Para la gente.
So, cuídense.
Bye.